morning, everyone. Welcome to Land News Brief. Today is Wednesday, November 9th. Well, today, of course, we're going to review mortgage rate. And the first news is last night, there was Palisade Park election everywhere, but our interested the town Palisade Park. Paul Kim was elected as a mayor versus Stephanie Chang defeated. So we had the news, and the next news is in North Halden, 180-unit apartment complex sold at $89 million. We want to take a look at that. And of course, we want to review the Fed, fund rate, federal fund rate raised by 0.75% last Wednesday. So we're going to review that. And robust hiring, we talked about job creation, shows the signs of cooling off. Okay, the home buyers set sight farther away. Okay, the buyers are buying the rural area. And the next news is we're going to see SBA 7A loan exempt the fee. That's good news. It's 3% fee exempt. And the last news is Tesla has a Twitter problem. That's interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the home mortgage this week. Okay, 30-year fixed rate is 6.625. Well, it's green, so it's lowered interest rate. And fixed year down to 5.625. And FHA down to 6.25. Okay, it's all green. So I think 2 consecutive weeks we see green letters. And 10-year Treasury yield is a little bit up. That means next week is not good. The 5-year arm 6.5 and 7-year arm 6.5. So all down from the previous week. But this week we're going to review. But last week the Fed raised the federal fund rate by 0.75. So now federal fund rate becomes 3.75 to 4%. Okay, therefore, a prime rate, typical bank's prime rate, becomes 6.75 to 7%. Again, it's red, so we change. 오케이, 이번 주에는 다 그래도 조금씩은 내려갔네요. 이자율이 내려가서 30년이 그저 6.6 정도, 15년이 5.6 정도. 그래서 이번 주는 페더럴 펀드 레이트 0.75가 올라갔죠. 저번 주 수요일 날에. 그래서 페더럴 펀드 레이트 3.75에서 4%가 됐고, 그에 따라서 프라임이 6.75에서 7%로 올라갔다. Okay, first news. The Paul Kim Democrat and Stephanie Chang Republican, they fought each other, but finally Paul Kim won. So he will become the mayor of Palisade Park for next term. And generally, last night I watched the car talk announcement diligently, and from the Republican camp, it says voting rate was very low. Among about 6,000 registered Korean voters in Palisade Park. That's a lot Is it true? I'm not sure. But anyway, according to his Katok announcement, and only 1,000 voted. And so Paul Kim won and Stephanie Zhang defeated, and the difference was 173 votes, and 28 from voting machines, actually voting place, and 145 from pre-voting and the mail voting. So 107 votes difference. Paul Kim won the election. Congratulations, Paul Kim. And there was some wave of let's change it, because too many years of Democrats politics, there's a lot of issues here and there. So this time it's time to change. There was such a move, but I think it was not enough. Okay. 그 폴 킴이 이제 데모크래트로서 다음 텀에 팔리세이드 파크의 시장님이 되셨습니다. 축하드리고 그런 얘기들을 많이 있었는데 이제는 리퍼블리칸이 이제 좀 바뀔 때가 됐다. 그런 그 웨이브라고 할까요? 그런 무드가 좀 있었는데 역시 선거는 또 숫자이기 때문에 결과가 이렇게 나왔습니다. Okay. Next news is North Helden. In North Helden, 180 unit apartment complex sold at $89 million. The complex called it's a Molly Brook on Belmont. It's Belmont Avenue, and it's a luxury apartment. It's an upscale apartment community. And sold at $9 million means per unit, per apartment unit, 495,000. So it's about $500,000, and it's 180 units average, $500,000 per unit. And the developer was Tulfra, based in Rochelle Park, and also their partner, Hampshire companies. They sold to JLL Income Property Trust. Again, this is a REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, who has $7 billion asset under management. That's big. And then this deal, the broker were 4 agents of Cushman & Wakefield. As we know, it's a famous commercial brokerage, who represented the seller and procured the buyer, simply saying it was a dual case. Congratulations. It looks like a lot of commission. And this project took 10 years to planning and entitling. As you know, entitling means basically approval, permit, and etc. If they need a zoning variance or a use variance, etc. All these permits, approval from the town, that's we call comprehensively we call entitling. So planning, entitling, building, and leasing, it took 10 years. And reached 100% occupancy in less than 12 months. So once they started leasing, it took less than 12 months to fill all 100%. Okay, and there was a building management company. The Molly Brook is professionally leased and managed by Bojuto Management, who will continue under new ownership. So they carry on under the new ownership. 그 노스헬든에 180개 유닛 그 단지가 팔렸는데 89 밀리언에 팔렸으니까 한 유닛당 49만 5천 불에 팔린 거죠. 아파트 단지를, 테넌트가 꽉 차 있는 단지를 이제 팔아 넘긴 거죠. 그래서 디벨로퍼가 10년 걸렸고요. 플래닝하고 인타이틀링 말씀드린 대로 타운의 인허가라고 보통 우리가 얘기하죠. 이 인타이틀링이 굉장히 중요하잖아요. 그죠? 굉장히 돈으로 치면 굉장히 비싸죠. 그다음에 빌딩 짓고 그다음에 리징하고 하는데 한 10년이 딱 걸렸다. 10년 걸려서 89 밀리언 받고 팔았다. 파는 거는 이제 이런 걸 사는 거는 이제 리츠 같은 사람들이 사죠. 그래서 이 경우도 마찬가지 JLL 유명한 브로커리지도 하고 또 이런 트러스트도 운영하고 그래서 $7 billion 에셋을 매니지하고 있는 JLL 인컴 프로퍼티 트러스트에 샀다. 브로커링은 네 사람이 인볼브돼서 했고요. 쿠시먼 웨이크필드 커미션이 꽤 컸겠고 두월 케이스였다. 그리고 이제 매니지먼트 컴퍼니 프로퍼티 매니지먼트 누가 해야 되죠? 리즈 관리하고 매니저하고 보주토 매니지먼트에서 계속 캐리온 하고 있다. 오케이. 이런 거를 통해서 이렇게 이제 조그만 것도 디벨롭에 관계되신 분들은 참고 자료가 될 수가 있겠죠. Okay, this is the picture. It looks like it's 4 different buildings and it's upscale, very high-end apartment unit. The view from top, I think it was before, so maybe we talk about this lot we're talking about. Okay, if you pull back, so in terms of the location, yes, this is location. This is Halden. Halden, and then North Halden is a totally different community. Okay, there's a Hawthorne, it's a Fairlawn, there's a Patterson, and this area. William Patterson University is right here. Okay, and this is a 208. So from Paramus Route 4 to 8 goes up, and this area. Yes, now we're talking about federal fund rate. Last Wednesday, 0.75% increased. And so, as we said, now the federal fund rate becomes 3.75 to 4%. They did that to combat inflation and signal the plans to keep raising them. They're going to keep continuing, and possibly in smaller increments, but to higher levels than previously anticipated. See, their decision is important, but after that, what they're saying is also important. That kind of gives us the hint, in the future, what's going to happen in December and in the winter, what's going to happen. After the decision, Chairman Jerome Powell said officials would contemplate a smaller hike at their next meeting in December. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's a 0.75 anymore, but he cautioned that they might raise borrowing cost next year more than they have projected. That we don't like. Next year, probably more increase than they have projected. So that we don't like it. Anyway, Powell also warned that reducing the size of rate increases didn't mean the Fed thought it was close to pivoting away from raising rate, meaning it was not close to terminating rate. We call termination rate. So it is not going to be ended soon. That's what he's saying, which we don't like. And if we take this look at this chart, this federal fund rate target, and right now is right here. Okay, so we have 3.75 to 4% at this point. Okay, they raised the 7.75 again. Now it was for a while is 0. Okay, and why is that? Because of pandemic. They dropped it, and they spent a lot of money. They poured money to the market, but now it's shrinking. Rate going up, borrowing cost is high. Okay, and this is the another drop is the financial crisis. Okay, even federal fund rate was way high, over 5%. And then because of financial crisis, they dropped it to the 0. And they pour a lot of money. Okay, that means almost 0 borrowing cost. That means a lot of money pouring into the market, and then controlled, and the pandemic. So that's what we see. That's how they do. We can see. 지금 저번 수요일 날 우리 미팅하고 있으면서 전번 주일에 그 회의가 끝나고 그 다음날 발표가 된 거죠. 7.5%, 0.7로 또 올라갔어요. 그래서 3.7에서 4가 됐고, 근데 디셈버에 이제 0.75는 아니지만은 또 올라갈 것 같고, 제롬 파월 체어맨의 이야기는 이제 그 인크리멘트는 작아질지 모르지만 그러나 끝난 거는 아니다. 계속 올라가는 거의 끝이 그렇게 가까이 오지는 않을 거다. 그런 지금 식의 얘기를 하고 있는 거죠. Okay, the next news is robust hiring shows signs of cooling off. Finally, we're talking about the job creation is good, right? Job market is still very good, but it shows cooling off signs. The US market remains strong, but it is showing more signs of cooling following the Fed's aggressive interest rate increases aimed at combating high inflation. So it works in a sense. Okay, we want to cool off labor market because it's too high. Too good, meaning the wage is going up. If job creation is, it's good, and the unemployment rate is low, that means the company point of view is hard to hire people. That means what? The salary has to go up, and then wage has to go up. This is not good for the inflation. Okay, that's exactly the problem of inflation. So government tried to cool off the job market, and it works. Okay, employers added 261,000 jobs in October, still a lot, but it's reduced than before. Okay, we can see that in the chart. And the unemployment rate rose to 3.7%. So it was like a 3.5, 3.4, right? So it's a little bit moving toward our target. We want to have a little bit more unemployment rate. It's odd, it sounds, but we try to control the inflation. And the report points to the economy that is gradually losing momentum. That's what we want, following a torrid stretch of growth last year and earlier this year. 지금 이제 job market에서 이 차트 보시면 아시겠지만은 이게 지금 job이 add 되는 것만 여기다 표시를 했거든요. 그래서 지금 이 옥토버에 job add 된 것이 26만 1천 정도라고 그랬죠. 근데 그 전번에 비해서 줄어들었다는 거죠. Okay? 이런 경우는 굉장히 올라갔잖아요, 그죠? 그래서 이게 전부 add 된 job이 add 된 그 숫자들이에요. 그래서 이게 조금 이제 줄어들기 시작했다. 그래서 쿨링 오프 되기 시작하지 않았나 이렇게 보는 거죠. 2019년도 에버리지는 이 정도래요. 그러니까 21년, 22년 굉장히 잡 마켓이 좋았다는 거죠. 잡 크리에이션이 좋았다. 이만큼씩 많았다는 거예요. 이게 조금 줄어들었다. 그러니까 지금 인플레이션 레이트를 올림으로써 목표하는 방향으로 움직여 나가고 있지 않느냐. 이 쿨링 오프 된 거를 좀 보니까 좀 그렇게 지금 이걸 보면은 지금 이게 로우웨스트잖아요, 그죠? 쭉 곡선을 따라가 보면 이때보다 처음으로 이때부터 해서 처음으로 이렇게 로우한 거죠. 어디션 된 게 작다 이런 얘기죠. 오케이. And this chart shows unemployment rate. Okay, this is what 2020. Oh yeah. This is a Corona era. So unemployment rate hits about close to 15% during pandemic, and then unemployment rate coming down, so getting better, doing good, and then now is 3 point some. It's almost again perfect. Employment. If it's a 3% unemployment rate, we call this a perfect employment. And now it's a little bit up, okay, just a little bit, tiny bit up to 3.7%. So overall economy point of view and the government's the goal point of view, it's moving forward positively. Okay, and home buyers moving away from the urban area. That's what they're saying. They showed very interesting statistics. Of course, it's the NAR. And the median distance people move rise to 50 miles from 15 miles in era of high-priced and remote work. So it's two reasons why people try to move a rural area. It's like an average moving distance is 50 miles rather than 15 miles. Okay, it's two reasons because urban area house is too expensive, and secondly, remote work is possible. So if we take a look at this chart here, this is like a between the new house and previous house, like a moving, right? The distance is about this range, 15 miles or so, or a little bit less. But this year 2022 statistics shows, boom, 50 miles. That means a lot of people, they purchased house about 50 miles away from their previous house. I mean, average 50 miles. And also the smaller communities were especially popular with the buyers. 48% of home purchases were in small towns and rural area. A record, this is a record in data going back to 2003 and up from 32% a year earlier. NAR survey shows. So rural area and small community, they kind of popular. 도시에서 사는 것보다 이제 시골로 자꾸 떨어져서 사는데 특히 2022년도에는 굉장히 바깥으로 많이 사람들이 이동을 했다는 차트로 볼 수가 있었죠. Okay, and 7A, SBA 7A loan exempt the fee, which means 3% fee. So they announced SBA 7A loan program, which is most popular. And we talked about SBA 504 program, but 504, SBA 504 program is limited to owner-use building. Owner have to use has to use at least 51% of the building. In that case, they can put down only 10%. And I think that right now it's a 5.25%, 5.75% for 25 years. So very, very good program for the owner use building. But Other than that, investors, etc., they use all pretty much 7A program. And the 7A program, the one of the disadvantage is a very expensive processing fee, which is 3%. And temporarily for 1 year, SBA will exempt the fee. So this beginning of October 1st this year through September 31st next year, they will exempt 3% fee under 500,000. Actually, this program existed. The exemption limit was up to only $350,000. But now they increased to $500,000. SBA 융자를 하실 때에 두 가지 프로그램이 있는데 504 프로그램은 빌딩을 본인이 사서 본인들이 쓰는 51% occupy 하는 경우에는 10% 다운하고 이자율이 굉장히 싸죠. 비교적 5.75밖에 안 되는 것 같아요. 그리고 25년 고정으로 할 수가 있는 프로그램이 있는데 그거는 이제 오너들의 경우니까 그렇지 않은 경우는 대개 7A를 쓰게 되는데 그 단점이 피가 비싸요. 3% 정도 다른 거 다 피 내고 플러스 엑스트라 3%를 내니까 근데 그것이 지금 경기가 지금 안 좋고 하니까 1년 동안 좀 면제해 준다 피를. 근데 그 프로그램이 사실 있었는데 리밋이 35만 불까지였는데 이제 50만 불로 늘렸다. 자, 그런 뉴스가 지금 들어와 있고요. The next news is Tesla has a Twitter problem. Interesting title. Well, we know that Tesla, Elon Musk purchased Twitter at $44 billion. And then, you know what, right? After that, he fired 2 executives and he laid off about 50% of Twitter employees. Twitter got about 7,500 employees and he laid off 3,500. So I think it's a big problem. But anyway, what is their problem is this. Tesla has heavily relied on China in terms of manufacturing. The Shanghai plant is its largest manufacturing and export hub with room to make more than 750,000 Model 3s and Model Ys. You remember last week, 2 weeks ago, Hyundai Motors America, they purchased, they're going to build a factory in Savannah, Georgia, right? You remember? And their annual capacity is 350,000 EVs. But this Tesla Shanghai alone, it has 750,000 car making capacity. And that is 2/5 of its global capacity. So it's too much concentrated in China. So that's their own problem. The biggest problem for Tesla investors is how adroitly he can manage them while pursuing his goal of improving free speech at Twitter, a social media platform blocked for most users in China precisely because that is what it offers. In other words, China is blocked the Twitter platform because they don't like free speech, the China government. But contradictorily, Tesla, after Musk purchased Twitter, he will improve the free speech at the Twitter. So it doesn't work. It collides. And so the operation can be held hostage to social media politics. So in other words, China saying, hey, if you push this free speech at Twitter, then we will, let's say, shut down Shanghai operation. Then what Tesla can do. So it's a little bit of a dilemma. So that's what they're saying. Tesla has a Twitter problem. And Musk sold 4 billion Tesla shares after Twitter purchase. Of course, we heard that Twitter got financial problems. So I think my guess is Musk sold $4 billion Tesla shares and they're going to pour into Twitter. That's my imagination. So don't quote him. 그 테슬라가 지금 문제가 트위터를 샀는데요. 44 빌리언 주고 샀죠. 사자마자 executive 두 사람 그 파이어 시키고 그다음에 지금 인플로이드 반을 지금 레이오프 시켜버렸는데 무슨 온 문제가 뭐냐면 트위터를 사서 이제 뭐를 또 강조하냐면 프리 스피치를 강조한단 말이죠. 머스크가. 그런데 중국하고 문제가 되는 거예요. 중국은 그 프리 스피치 그것 때문에 트위터 플랫폼을 지금 블락하려고 하고 있는데 근데 이제 테슬라가 이걸 트위터를 사버렸으니까 문제는 테슬라가 중국의 샹하이에 글로벌 전체 캐패시티의 5분의 1을 차지하는 공장을 가지고 있단 말이죠. 샹하이에. 그러니까 이게 지금 트위터 때문에 중국이 이제 하스티지로 잡으면 어떻게 하느냐. 샹하이 공장을. 그래서 어떤 정책적인 압력을 주고 이러면 어떻게 하느냐. 뭐 이런 것이 지금 테슬라의 인베스터들의 문제다 하는 뉴스가 어제 월스트리트저널에 좀 들어와 있습니다. Okay, so that is it for today's news brief. And again, thank you for joining. And I hope you enjoyed the news brief today. And please come back next week. See you all next week. Thank you.